is everybody out there? Happy holidays from King and Queen Fitness Virtual. My name is Coach Bey. This is a taping, a recording of overcoming substance abuse. This is, of course, primarily for suffering addicts, overcoming addicts, those who want to overcome, those who are choosing to overcome, because it is a choice. I know they describe addiction as a disease. And I know that plenty of times during our lives, during our stretch of addiction, during that hell, we would agree. I mean, just like any other disease, cancer, AIDS, one that is terminal will destroy your life. And this is the same with substance abuse. This is the same with mind-altering chemicals. Why you talk about mind-altering chemicals, baby? Because, let's just be plain. They're mind-altering chemicals, right? Now, is that always bad? I don't think so. You took that from Coach Bey. We're talking about certain drugs. For instance, the only one I would probably vouch for that is sold as a narcotic is marijuana. Or that is sold for regular usage, for recreational usage, is marijuana. Why? Because it has effects that are positive as well as effects that are negative. So, look, I am for those who deal with stress in their lives by being strong, by demonstrating structure. If marijuana is something that you choose to indulge in a responsible fashion, and it's okay with your doctor, it's okay with your family, and it's legal in your state, and that is your choice as an adult. What we're going to discuss in this series of recordings is hard drugs, fentanyl, opioids, cocaine. What is an opioid? Obviously, fentanyl, heroin, oxycontin, oxycodone. These are opioids. These are the things that are taking our kids' lives in your community and mine. See, one thing about this epidemic of opioids is it doesn't just reach the hood. It isn't just in the black community. It is also in rural America. So thus it became an issue, a greater issue than it most likely would have been. I speak the truth here. My name is Johnson-Bey. For those who have tuned in before, welcome back. You all know me as a life coach, fitness professional, 5-time certified, supplement specialist as well, recovering addict. I think that's important to say that. I think it's important to state that. As a recovering addict, I am in the ball field of those who believe that you can't tell a person, you can't teach a person to do something that you've never done. Again, I say I'm in the ball field that you can't teach a person to do something that you've never done. So when you talk about overcoming substance abuse, when you talk about kicking the habit, when you talk about getting the monkey off your back, when you talk about getting out that hell, you got to know what that hell is to teach a person, to tell a person about that hell. How can you read about that hell? That hell is too serious. Okay, it's too serious of a hell. You say, Coach Bey, you're calling it a hell. Damn right I am. Damn right I am. I'm calling substance abuse a hell, because those of us who have found ourselves there, found ourselves in a hell. Found ourselves in a hell inside what we believed was a trap. Now, sure, it's a trap of our own decision making. In the beginning, it's a trap of our own decision making, substance abuse is, right? Because we've been told, we've read, and we've heard, right? So we're not going to play the victim here. Johnson-Bey, Coach Bey doesn't do the victim stance thing, right? So we're not going to do the victim here. At some point, we made a choice to get high, right? We made a choice. We made a conscious decision. If you've seen my video on overcoming fear and doubt, if you've seen the 5 steps to overcoming fear and doubt, you know a choice is one of them. Making a decision. That's number 1. You made a decision, I made a decision at one point to get high, right? So we got high again. We like the high, we like the feeling, euphoric, right? But that high led us to a place that, a lot of us didn't know anything about, but we found ourselves there. We found ourselves in the hell of our own making, right? So now you say, Coach Bey, yeah, I'm in that hell right now. I'm in that hell right now, you say, Coach Bey, and I'm going to tell you, in this series, we're going to talk about getting out of that hell. We're going to talk about how we got in it. We're going to talk about what we endured while we was in it, and we're going to talk about getting out of it. And then it'll be your turn to make another decision. It'll be your turn to make another decision to get out of that hell. If you are a suffering addict, and this, again, I tell you this recording, this live is primarily for recovering addicts. And I'm sorry I got 2 cameras going. This is primarily for recovering addicts. Those who deem that perhaps, dealing with Coach Bey, listen to something that he said, struck me that perhaps their condition could be better. Those are the people that I'm looking for. I'm not talking about the wise asses. I'm not talking about those who know everything. I'm talking about those who say, perhaps my condition can be better, and I like what Coach Bey is talking about. Everybody else don't want no betterment. Everybody else is that's too good for this. Everybody else that know everything, excuse yourself from the live right now. Thank you very much. So, those of us that want to be here, let's talk about it, right? Because this is a hell of a time, and this is the holidays. And for those of us, and for those of you who are still out there suffering, man, out there, it is a hell of a time, man. It is a hell of a time. It is a time when people lose it. It is a time when people commit suicide. It is a time when people go deeper into their addiction, right? They add on, right? Why? Because you got judgmental, you judge yourself, first of all, right? And a lot of us in addiction don't judge ourselves accurately. Let's just get real about that. A lot of us in addiction don't judge ourselves accurately, right? Why? Because we lie to ourselves in addiction, right? We walking around 50 pounds, right? In the same clothes that we had on 2 days ago, but still acting like we hot shit. You know, we'll build a rationale for that bullshit. We'll build a rationale for drugs. We'll build a rationale for a mistake, a bad decision that we're gonna make in life, right? And then get to pointing our finger when the consequences come back of that bad decision, right? A lot of our girlfriends, parents, people told us, probation officers, parole, about drugs, about a lot of things, right? But we got into it, so we got into it, right? During the holidays, man, we find a lot of times suffering addicts find themselves in a deeper hole. Having to do with PNP, having to do with family, man. Family's judgmental. Family's judgmental, but family wants you to change, man. Your family loves you. Those who family loves them. Now, I'm Coach Bey. I'm not gonna get on here and sugarcoat shit. So I'm not gonna tell you that every family, man, that every family supports a recovering addict. I'm not gonna tell you that every family member loves you. Because one thing about it, people have their own issues in their own lives. And for us recovering addicts, and for those who are still suffering, we've damaged and hurt a lot of people. Over and over and over again. girlfriends, parents, kids, those who loved us, looked up to us, respected us. We chose to hurt them over and over again, right? So this hell that we find ourselves in, right, during the holidays, right, when people are eating during Thanksgiving, when families getting ready to congregate, flying in, rolling in, training in from out of state, making plans to congregate over a family member's house, you may not be invited. You got two sides. You may not be invited, and then you may not invite yourself because you feel like you don't deserve to be there. You feel like all they're going to do is look at you and talk about you. And in a lot of households, they probably are. So is it constructive that you go to that house? That's a decision only you can make. You know if your family is supportive, or you know if they're going to be judgmental. And don't get this messed up, okay? Your family can be, it ain't cool to be judgmental, but they can be critical, man, and be constructive criticism. They can just know not how to deliver it to you. Sometimes your family got things to say to you, man. They love you, man. They got things they want to say to you, constructive criticism with strong points. They just don't know how to say it. Some of us, especially as addicts in our addiction, are not receptive. I'm going to say that again. Some of us as addicts in our addiction are not receptive. You agree? So a lot of times people, man, are scared to say things to us. What are you saying, Johnson-Bey? You just said a lot. And basically, I'm speaking about this ball of confusion that addiction is. And it's critical, it's hard, man, on the addict, it's hard on the family, man. It's hard on the family of the recovering and suffering addict during the holidays. Because they love you when you love them. But you're trapped, there's this thing that's calling me, man. If it's heroin or something, if it's something physically addictive, it's grabbing on me, it's feeling on me, it's snatching my gut. I need it. Alcohol's the same way. I don't want nobody on this recording that thinks that they're better than anybody else. Oh, I drink alcohol. I don't do that other stuff. You know? Alcohol will destroy you faster than any drug that you can think of. Do the research. Learn the facts. So on these holidays, man, again, you know, you say, babe, you got this tape out, you're doing this recording. Beautiful, check this out. We also do life coaching sessions for free during the holidays at kingandqueenfit.com. Go on there and get your life coaching session with me or one of the counselors, man, and we'll sit back and we'll go over it. They're free during the holidays. Okay? I'm a recovering addict, so you know, you ain't got to be ashamed talking to me. Right? I've been clean for over 10 years. Right? So you ain't got to be ashamed. I know the struggle. I know that during the holidays, man, this is what I'm telling you, this is why I brought up the holidays. It's hard for suffering addicts and their families. But at the same time, pain, in my opinion, is one of the number one reasons for change. I'm going to say that again. Pain, in Coach Bey's opinion, the owner of King and Queen Fitness Virtual, in my opinion, pain is one of the number one causes of change. During the holidays, when you a suffering addict sitting out there on the damn bus stop, sitting homeless somewhere, because of the choices that we've made, homeless somewhere, right? We chose to spend our money on drugs instead of a hotel room or rent. I know what it's like. I've never been down that far, but I know people who have. I was out there in it. I've got the hood, the tattoos, I've got the wounds, I've got the prison bit. I've done it, okay? Coach Bey's done it. I've been there. I've done that. What does a wise king do when he's been there and done that? He brings it back to his people. He brings knowledge and wisdom back to his people from the hell that he's been in, right? That's what I'm here for. I don't know what you're here for. I don't know what you're doing, but that's what I'm here for. I'm here to tell the recovering and suffering addict, man, that we got a chance. That we can be somebody. That we can get out of that hell. That we can demonstrate what God wants us to demonstrate. Right? I'm not a Christian, but Jeremiah 29:11 says abundance. An abundance. I know the things I want for you, man. They ain't negative. That's what he said. There ain't nothing bad about what I want for you, God said. Right? So understand this, suffering addict, that during the holidays, the pain of not being able to see your family, or the pain of being around that family that's looking at you crazy, man, take that pain, man, and do something with it. Coach Bay say, take that pain, man, and do something with it. That pain is powerful, man, if it's sourced in the right direction, if it's used as the correct energy. See, I got a lot of people, man, who don't know, man, who just don't know how fired up and ready we really are to bring you these messages. We've been in the dismal crypts and we've returned. No better than anyone. I'm a servant, man. That's all I do. I work for you. So we're going to take that pain. We take that pain during the holidays that we feel it, man. That pain is hurtful. Trust me, I know for the recovering addict, for the addict that's still suffering, I know that pain is hurtful when you can't see your family, when your wife don't want to see you, when your kids don't want to see you, the baby mama don't allow you around them, right? Because you're out there buying drugs, you're homeless, you're looking a mess. Use that pain, man. Use that pain this holiday season before the new year to make a decision. That pain, man, that pain will move you. That pain will lift you. Reflection is the business of man. Here I go. Here I go. Reflection is the business of man and of woman. What are you talking about, babe? Get in your car. Now you know Bay likes to talk about the workshop of the mind, right? The workshop of the mind. So we're talking about a mental car. Get in your car. Sit back and let's adjust our mirror. And let's look back and reflect. Let's look back at everything we've gone through. Let's look back at our choices. Let's look back at the mistakes we've made. And then let's look back at what and how we want to change these things. What we could have did differently. What we should have did differently. And what we can do now, right? So we can go back to those pains. We can go back to those memories. This is what I'm telling you. This is a secret I'm unlocking for you. We can go back. The mind never does forget, right? The mind never does forget, right? You can forgive, but you can't forget, right? So we can go back to those pains, man, and we can bring them back and we can use them, right? Every memory of pain, we can use that. And we're going to talk about it more in series 2 on how to use these small things to impel us out of the hell that we're in, right? Because God gave us a tool, man. I'm going to tell you, for every issue, he gave an answer. Steel sharpen steel, men sharpen men, women sharpen women, right? Men sharpen women, women sharpen men, right? So individuals who are heartfelt, individuals who are standing behind these cameras delivering these messages are doing what you're supposed to do in design. For the things that sharpen me, I sharpen you with. Let's talk a little bit about the facts of substance abuse. This is 23-24 data. Substance abuse disorder, we're going to talk about substance abuse disorder, SUD, later on. So remember, SUD is substance abuse disorder. About 16.8% of people aged 12 or older, that's 48.4 million Americans, had a past year substance use disorder. So 48.4 million Americans between the 23-24 year had a substance abuse disorder. So we are not alone. You are not alone out there. Don't think that you're the only one who made the dumbass decision to do drugs. Don't think that you're the only one that's struggling to get off of it, because you're not. Coach Bey's telling you that you're not alone. We are all fighting with you. Just as we fight with ourselves and for ourselves, with ourselves daily, because we all got good and evil inside. So we fight with ourselves as well daily on decisions that we have to make. We've become strong enough not to make the decision to use. Now our job is to get you strong enough. I'm also a fitness professional. Most of you know that. So we talk about mind, body, and spirit when you hear me teach. Right? So let's continue. Okay, so we said 48.4 million Americans between 23 and 4 had substance abuse issues. Only about 1 in 5 people needing treatment receive it. Okay? Let me say that again. Only about 1 in 5 of people in that 48.4 million, 16.8% of Americans, got treatment when they needed it. Right? So we get to hurting people. So we get to hurt. We hurt so many people out there, right? You know, so many people are losing control of their lives. Some of you are rich, some of you are poor, some of you in the middle. But you all have something in common. You feel like you're trapped. We all feel like we were trapped. And for those suffering, we feel like, you feel like you're still trapped. But I'm telling you, I just gave you a key. I just gave you a key. Reflection is the business of man. That's more than one key. And then the key of the pain of dealing with addiction through these holidays. Kindle that pain, allow it to impel you out of the hell that you're in. Don't tell me you can't. Yes, you can. This is a series. This is part 1. If we need to do more with you as an individual, get with me on a life coaching session. But get out of that hell, man. Get back to your family. Get back to your children. Get back to you. Get back to you. You can't do this. And let me make this point, because this is a critical point. You can't get free from addiction for nobody else first but yourself. When you try to do it for other people, it doesn't work. You gotta love yourself enough, man. You get out that hell, man, you get off those drugs, man. First you reflect and you remember how I used to be before I touched that shit. Right? I was clean, I was doing my thing before I messed with that shit, man. You remember that, you take that strength, man, and you go on through it, and when you're sitting in the classroom of life and you're thinking, man, and you're reflecting, and you say, I'm gonna use that, man, what I used to be, I used to be better than this, I'm gonna be better than this again. I'm gonna be better than this again. I'm here to tell you can do this, man. Fentanyl, that ain't the end, man. You can get off of that, man. To my people in Colorado, to my people in California, to my people in Michigan, here in Missouri, you can get off of that, man. You can get off of that. And Johnson-Bey, man, Coach Bey, we're gonna walk through it. This is series 1, man, of overcoming substance abuse with Coach Bey. We're gonna walk through it, man. I thought it was important to do this and start this right now because we're going through the holidays, and as I've said before, I know the holidays are tough. So let's do something else. Let's talk about this. Some more facts. Opioid crisis drivers. Fentanyl and the opioids remain the main driver of opioid deaths. So fentanyl remains the number one driver for opioid deaths. Man, I was in Colorado recently, man, and I seen it. I seen the effects. If I don't mess with Trump on nothing else, I'll mess with him on the fight of this fentanyl. I just mess with him legally, not illegally. I hate to see it doing this to our people, but at the same time, I am one of those life coaches that will tell you, man, you got to be strong. You got to be, I talk about in overcoming fear and doubt, I talk about the symmetrical character. I talk about the workshop of the mind, right? I talk about, man, how we got to take the chisel and the hammer up in the workshop of the mind, man. We got to cut away the knotty, ungainly, useless parts, man. Get the bullshit out of here. This isn't a playtime anymore. I do this video also for those who, because finances are low, for my Hispanic members, for my Hispanic clients, the uncertainty. I do this because people are running to substance abuse right now. I'm going to tell you, run to a substance abuse counselor, run to a life coach, run to God first and foremost. But don't run to hell, because running to substance abuse is running to hell. I don't care who you are. During these holidays, man, if you are one who can't go to that family's house, man, do something for Coach Bey today. But it isn't for Coach Bey, do something for yourself. Make amends, man. I know the 12 steps well, man, and I know that is a step further down, but make amends, man. I'm telling you today, Coach Bey is telling you, in this electrified age, we're past the stage of 12 steps. I'm telling you, in overcoming fear and doubt, I'm telling you, with overcoming substance abuse, to this holiday, those who you have hurt, tell them you're sorry, man. Apologize. Call your mother. Call your father. If they don't accept the call, man, leave a message. Tell them I'm sorry. I'm sorry. My kids, tell your wife, tell yourself. And then you take that power, man, that power from that hurt, you do something with it this holiday, man. You walk with me through these steps. This is series 1. We got 5 more to go. KingandQueenFit.com, and you can go in there and ask for a life coach for free. You got to be about your life, man. This is a hell of a time in society, in the world, man. I am calling on all alphas, man, all kings and queens, to represent yourself. You deem yourself a king or queen. What is a king or queen? You say Coach Bey. Well, listen, you are called what you are. You are deemed what you are based on your characteristics, right? Based on your characteristics. If you call somebody a goon, right, they're a goon based on their characteristics, right, based on how they act. You call somebody a devil, they're a devil based on how they act, their characteristics. What are the traits of the devil, right? So this holiday, man, when you apologize, to your family, man, don't be the same when you're done. Take that apology and say, you know what, okay, this is where it starts, right? Because we got to have a starting point. This is where it starts. In the next chapter 3, we're going to talk about structure, right? But I'll give you a thing about it right now. If you don't have things, if you're a suffering addict, if you're a recovering addict, and you got too much free time right now, you need to implement structure into your life. What am I talking about? You need to, I don't care what it is, go to the gym. I'm also a fitness professional, certified trainer, certified exercise recovery specialist. So, go to the gym, go to the library, read a book. We got a marathon coming up on books. Look forward to that. I just wrote a book. The title of it is Hey, We're Down Here. Comes out December 5th on Amazon. We made it free. Amazon wouldn't let us, so it's 99 cents. Memoirs coming out. All of this, understand this, man. Reflections of business of man, understand all this is from a recovering addict. For all my addicts out there, I've been there. I've been in the homeless shelter. I know what it's like to have to be in at a certain time for a bed. I know what it's like to spend your last on drugs when you know you're hungry. A lot of y'all don't know that about me, man, but I'm sharing that, you know. Because one thing about it, it doesn't make me weak. It doesn't make me any less of a man to share that with you, man, because, you know, it's my social duty, you know. So again, man, this is overcoming substance abuse with Coach Bey. I got an interesting fact. Let's talk about COVID-19. COVID-19 as it pertains to substance abuse. COVID-19 research has shown that people with substance abuse disorders were more vulnerable to COVID. Wow, obviously, because substance abuse, you got things in your body. You know, you're killing your T cells, your white cells, the things that keep us healthy, that fight off disease. You got all these chemicals in your body, obviously, you know, that's going to discourage your white blood cells. And it's going to be easier for you to get sick. Same thing with alcohol, same thing with cigarettes. Right now, common cold, it's easier for you to catch those who smoke cigarettes in that nature because you smoke cigarettes. You know, the body's a wonderful thing, miraculous, man, but it's also not that complicated, right? You know, just like your car. Put bad shit into your car, you know, it's not gonna run right. You know, so demographic disparities. This is interesting. Black Americans and Indian Alaska Native Americans recently experienced the highest rates of fatal overdoses. I'll read that again. Demographic disparities. Black Americans and Indian Americans have recently experienced the highest rates of fatal overdoses. Structured racism, and lack of access to resources are being linked to the cause. So in other words, people, the lack of resources to these type of videos, the lack of resources to life coaches, ours is free, the lack of resources to those type of things, are the cause of death for Black Americans this year, last year, and Indian Americans. Okay, so again, as an addict, you have to make a choice. It's not easy, trust me. Most of us do it at the point of the sword. Most of us do it when, you know, we're just sick and tired. They call it rock bottom. You know, or other numbers of us do it because we've gotten in trouble. Now we're on probation or parole, right? I'm telling you to do it on your own. If you're out there listening to me right now and you're a suffering addict, do it on your own. It gives you an extra strength. A decision that you make to better yourself on your own as a suffering addict up against the wall of everybody who said that you didn't want better, everybody who said that you're not trying, because I used to get sick of that, right? Don't prove them wrong, try, right? Call Coach Bey and say, man, I'm trying out here, bro. I'm trying, man. What you got for me, man? And I'm gonna deliver to you exactly what God tells me to. And that's my promise to you. You know, I appreciate how I look. You say, damn, but you know, you big kind of big, you know, you look street. I appreciate how I look because I'm welcome in rooms, man, where a lot of you are not. I come walking and talking, looking like the same people in the community that I came to save. And for those of you who are not in that community, when I put on a suit and I smile, you know, I'm just as welcome, and I love y'all too. My white brothers and sisters, I love y'all too. Don't ever get that confused. You know, my Mexican brothers and sisters, my black brothers and sisters, you know, we have to learn to love instead of hate. You know, we have to learn to love instead of hate. You know, we gain nothing. We actually lose. We become weak when we don't use our diversity as a country, when we don't use what our Japanese brothers know, when we don't use what our Chinese brothers know, when we don't use what our Hispanic brothers, when we don't use when we don't use what our black brothers and sisters know, when we cut them off, we get weaker as a body because they know something that we don't. So another fact, let's get back into this substance abuse. Another fact, co-occurring disorders. There's a strong correlation between substance abuse disorders and mental health conditions. Any mental health illness, AMI, or serious mental health illness. Nearly 45% of people with substance abuse disorder also experience mental illness. Nearly 45% of people with substance abuse disorders also experience mental illness. Why do you think that is? One, because we put crazy shit in our body that's going in our mind and it's fucking our mind, for lack of a better terminology. Methamphetamine, PCP, I mean, just marijuana, it all is a mind altering. It fucks your brain. Yeah, to some degree. I'm just being, that's just what it is. Also, the brain, man, you got shit up there eating on the brain, methamphetamine eats on the brain, you got shit eating on the brain, and then you're going through the stress and the strain of a different life, because the life of an addict isn't a life. That's not a life. So your mental health is all screwed. You're out here homeless, you're donating for money, you're stealing shit, you're robbing, God forbid, you're killing, you're not seeing your family, you're doing all this, so your mental state is screwed. So, I mean, that's really nothing, that's crazy, but it's not a surprise. When you're an addict, man, and you're out there and you've done other things with your life, man, and again, I tell you about reflection, man, when you're out there and you're seeing people, man, out there in the world, see the good and the bad out there, man. There are strengths just like there are triggers everywhere out there. I'm giving you knowledge right now. There are strengths just like there are triggers everywhere out there. You say, wow, man, yeah. Allow that nice car that you look at and say, man, you know what, I ain't shit, I ain't never had nothing like that. Allow that, man, to anger you. Allow that to boost you, to fuel you, because you know what? What you just told yourself was a damn lie. From right now today, if you choose to leave fentanyl, if you choose to leave whatever drug alone right now today, and go to treatment, start right now today, using the resources that they give you, get a job, leave the drugs alone, step by step by step. I promise you, I put it all on the line that you can get that car in due time. I promise you that. So if you're down on the bottom right now, if you just hit rock bottom yesterday, let me tell you that Coach Bey has been down there and he's telling you right now today that you can go back up to the top. All you got to do is make a decision. It is not going, trust me, to be done alone. Coach Bey is with you. KingandQueenFit.com. Let me know. I am with you. You can hit me on TikTok. We have over 3,000 followers. Let me know. We're on Facebook, King and Queen Fitness Virtual, right? Pinterest, Instagram, LinkedIn, we're everywhere. And I'm a servant. So when you call, I answer, if it's real deal. God writes my checks. I'll say that again. God writes my checks, and the servant is worthy of his hire. The servant is worthy of his hire. So, how dare you look at a book or anything else that Bey does for a price? 99 cents a dollar. So, wow, I don't, wow. He was saying good stuff. He had some lessons, boy. He's powerful. But I sure can't support the time that he spent teaching and paying him 99 cents for a book. I just can't support the family that he's got. When he's delivering these messages, those messages help me and it freed me, but just can't give him that 99 cents. Well, you know what, get off my life. Because the servant is worthy of his hire. I go around the world every day, all day, respecting those who do their jobs, who are, the barber all the way down the line. Everybody's in a position doing what they are privileged to be doing. I am thankful for the hell that I've gone through. I am thankful for the prison stint. I am thankful for all of it. Why? Because I've experienced these things and I can come and talk to you about them, right? Without you having to go through it yourself. Right? And I'm not going to tell one person one thing and one person the other. I don't give a damn what you look like. I don't give a damn what your sex is. Man, woman, that's not my business. If you are a suffering addict, man, if you need life coaching, if you need a personal trainer with fitness, an exercise recovery specialist, a supplement specialist, if you need some of those things, then we're your people. Otherwise, we're not. We're not here to hate. We need to learn love instead of hate. So again, this is part one of overcoming substance abuse with Coach Bey. Before I close, I want to say, man, I gave y'all some jewels, I gave you some gifts about reflection and about that pain during this holiday. If suicide has crossed your mind, 988, pound 988 is the number. Or call Bay. You can call the suicide hotline, call Bay, call somebody that's going to listen. But if you have thought about suicide this holiday season, let me tell you, man, that's the wrong answer. That's the wrong answer. You hurt the people that love you to their core. You shake them to their core. Your children, your parents, your wife with suicide. There is no coming back from that. Your wife, your parents, your children, they may feel like they hate you right now. They're upset with you right now. But they know what I know. They know what I'm telling you, that you can change with a choice. But if you choose to take your life, there is no coming back from that. You say, well, they don't deserve the addict. They don't deserve the dead. I know you feel like you're dead sometime as an addict. I know what it's like, but you're not. You're still in the land of the living, brother. You're still in the land of the living, sister. And you can change your condition. I want followers, man, who think that perhaps their condition can be better, man. If you are that humble, then follow Johnson-Bey, man. Follow Coach Bey. Because we're going to get there. We're going to stand on 7 together, man. Do your reading, do your homework on 7. We're going to stand on that together. Suicide, man, you can't come back from that, man. I know at the time it seems like, oh man, I gotta get out of here, man. I'm nothing to nobody, man. I'm just hurting people. Man, don't listen. I'm gonna leave that lie. If you commit suicide, you take the option to change your life away from you. And that is the ultimate betrayal of yourself and of your family and of your children. My name is Coach Bey. This was part 1 of Overcoming Fear and Doubt. I'm sorry. Go get that. Go check out Overcoming Fear and Doubt. 5 steps to overcoming fear and doubt. Step 1 is making a choice, making a decision. That's step 1. Overcoming substance abuse with Coach Bey. I am Coach Bey. I ain't gotta like y'all, but I gotta love you, man. Because God tells me to. And my heart burns with that, man. It's one of the things that It makes me the king I am. I don't give a damn what you look like. I don't give a damn about your denomination. You know, all Coach Bay and all King and Queen Fitness Virtual cares about, man, is the betterment of a people who think that perhaps their condition can be better. With that being said, man, I want to thank all of you who tuned in. When you see me putting up a live, I'm going to do a live. Again, I'm not one of the people who's always on TikTok. You can request me more. Let me know you love me out there, man. You know what I'm saying? Thank y'all for joining in, man. And session 2 is coming up. We will get it on section 2 also. Go out there, man, December 5th. Hey, we're down here. That's the name of the new book, man. It's the name of the new book. It says the nation can't rise. The nation can't rise, man. If it's refusing to look down to people, man, who's holding it up. So go get that book, man. Hey, we're down here December 5th, man, 99 cents on Amazon. My memoir comes out on Christmas, man. We love y'all. King Queen Fitness Virtual, Johnson-Bey. Peace.